Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden. I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
Hi, I'm Jill Friedman, and I've been here the whole time.
Ah!
Oh, that is good. I do like that. You could literally say that. You could say that every time, and it would feel like it would work.
I stole it from Sam Reich, so like I stole it, but it's a quality steal.
Yeah, not coming for you for sure.
Mm-hmm. Quality and now credited, so yeah, good.
Yes,
yeah, there you go. You're covered.
Everybody go watch Game Changer. It's great. Dimension 20 is the best $5 you will spend on your entertainment budget.
Mm-hmm. Period.
Outside of donating to the Patreon for this show.
Yeah. I actually just recently bought access to Dropout, and I'm still working my way through so many things.
Oh, no.
But the problem is I'm too obsessed with too many other things, so there isn't room in my heart right now for Dropout. As much as I love Brendan Lee Mulligan and Emily Axford and like literally every single person on Dropout, I'm just like I can't.
The problem is that the actual plays are like they average at 2.5 hours long.
They sure do.
I don't have that kind of time. I don't have a job, and I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, no, they sure do. It's great. It's hilarious because I thought I could put it on in the background like a podcast. I cannot. I need to sit there and watch it like it is a movie. Every single installment is its own movie. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Gravity Falls, season 1, episode 13, 14, and 15. I feel like I said this last episode. I think Summerween is like in my top 3 episodes. I'm pretty sure Boss Maybell is also in my top 3.
I mean, what we really need to do when we're doing our homework, Joy, is go back and count how many episodes you say are in your
top
3.
Usually
because I can guarantee that it's more than 3.
Usually I try to say top 5 so that I don't get called out like this.
Lol.
I am being added right now. I am in this photo and I don't like it.
Because this is our 5th podcast episode of the season, and you've said top 3 probably each of those times.
It's fair. That's fair.
5th?
I might, you know what? When I'm editing it, I'll go back and take a look, and then maybe I'll add something at the end of this episode and be like, Danielle was right. Because I know you're going to be right. You're just going to be right. That's just my life.
Just like a for funsies count. And maybe it's really like top 3 really means top 6 because there's 2 tied for first place, 2 tied for second place, and 2 tied for third place. I'll allow it.
I like the way you think.
Instead of tied for first place and then there's only third place, I like that Danielle's an all-inclusive.
This is how the bisexuals can still win.
Yes. This is our whole agenda.
Because we don't have to make a choice. We just can keep adding more places.
Right.
People don't why not both embodied.
Exactly.
People don't understand that bisexuals and pansexuals just naturally stack.
Both?
We just naturally stack.
That's just what we do.
It is a skill. You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
I've never been able to make a decision in my life.
There are two wolves within you. But yes, Boss Mabel.
Actually, there's like 3, but
Boss Mabel that's how you know you're pansexual. Boss Mabel is.
We finally figured
it out. We did it. Da-na-da-da-da-da-da-da. We'll see if any of this actually stays in. We'll see.
Oh goodness! I honestly this can be just a sizzle reel.
Just
put this on put this on YouTube and just be like, this is the shenanigans you can enjoy if you listen to Binge O'Clock Pod.
Maybe.
I just did your ad read for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you for that. But yeah, like I think this episode is really cute because inevitably in anything, any sitcom worthy, sort of title of thing where something happens during the show and it all gets neatly resolved by the end of it and shenanigans ensue. There's always one, especially when involving kids, there's always one that's like, I could do the adult's job. That doesn't look that hard. And that's this episode.
Yeah, I think I put that in my notes as well. Like every show, especially every kids show, has the two people switch jobs, and we see who can hack it and who can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love that they both fail.
Yes.
And
but I love that we still get the Stand Wrong song at the end.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys remember, if you remember back in the dark days of mid 2020, there was an amazing TikTok. I tried to find it earlier. I couldn't find it. That was this Black woman doing the Stand Wrong song scene, but it was companies coming out to support Black Lives Matter during 2020. No. And it's just like, sing the song. And it's, she's doing this. And then like the text is like, these companies and these, academic institutions, the other.
Wow. I don't remember this, but then again, I wasn't really.
Here. Like, it's.
Do the kicks.
I'm going to find it. God. Like, it was just so perfect. It was so perfect.
I've never seen this.
I hope that.
I wouldn't have understood the reference at the time, but now I need to see it.
Exactly. Like, I hope that TikToker is having a very good day.
Always and forever. Every day.
I also like how Stan just like leaves the kids for a weekend. 72 hours. See you later, jerks. Don't burn the place down. You're 12. Like,
it's a real look, as someone who is an adult who just celebrated her 40th birthday. I am in fact a certified adult. I know very little about how old kids should be when they're left alone and or anything else. I have very little gauge for all of the like milestones that children need to have. So yeah. I'm also sitting here like, I wouldn't be that auntie that's just like, and now I leave you alone for multiple days with no one in the house at night.
Like hours specifically.
Yeah. I guess like, he thought Seuss was going to take care of them. Like, I
no,
he didn't. He didn't.
Is Seuss an adult?
Seuss is an adult.
Okay.
Seuss is like 25.
Seuss is a young adult.
Okay.
Like, I'm not saying we should leave small children with Seuss as a habit. I'm saying he is technically an adult legally in the eyes of the state of Oregon,
I don't think you understand. He literally did not think of this. He didn't think Seuss was going to take care of them. He, like, as someone who has this age blindness, I can tell you, he was just like, they were probably fine.
Yep.
Or
he also
I was left alone when I was like 10. They're 12. They're loads ahead of me. Like, it's
I mean, I feel like I'm not breaking any spoiler surprise when I say that when we do find out about Stan's childhood, he very much is left alone by himself at this age and younger for like entire days.
Oh yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will not give any further details, but like we find out that Stan is very much a free range child at that point in his life.
Yeah. And this is part of that this is something Stan and I share, where part of that blindness is like, oh, I just had to grow up really quickly and was just left alone a lot. I literally have no idea when children are not supposed to be left alone at all. Like, it just doesn't compute. So I guarantee you, he was like, they'll be fine. I survived. They'll survive. And I'm just sitting here like, you weren't even home at night. Like, there's a difference between like, I'm going to leave you by yourself all day on your summer vacation without any supervision. And then also at night, like the also at night is what gets me.
Yeah, the also at night is a big problem. The 72 hours is a big problem. Listen, as the certified mandated reporter on the call, we can talk afterwards about the legal ramifications of what this man did.
Oh no! I think we need this on the record. What as a mandated reporter, if Mabel came to school on Monday and was like, "Uncle Stan left us for 72 hours,"
that's like, an immediate call. Immediate call to child services. No further questions necessary.
Okay, well, you're gonna sit here in the office. Do you want a juice? Great, just sit here.
Give me a second. Weekend, how how about we not leave the office until there's another adult who can take you from my supervision?
Exactly. a bit of a drought of adult supervision lately.
Yes.
Well, especially around the Mystery Shack. That's for sure.
Shack.
I can't get over how he calls customers little wallets with legs. And then proceeds to see them all as tiny wallets, and then don't spend all yourself in one place, son.
And then the wallet puking coins onto the lawn.
Yep, love the wallet puking
absolute
coins.
magic.
I love everything about it. I also love the horse riding another horse. Like,
it's unnatural.
I also thought about making this my one more thing, but it was just like we finally get to see the other things that are in the shop in this episode because, you know, we don't really get a tour. Like, this is the first time we've actually seen the other things that are there because, of course, Dipper's point is like, there are real mysteries in this wood. Like, we could go out and get a real mystery and people could actually look at a mystery, which is, you know, like, I love what people learn in this episode. Like, Grunkle Stan actually learns that, yes, the word please can actually literally pay you in dividends. And you know, Mabel understands that, like, you can't always be nice. You can't. Yeah. You can't. You can't just give in to what everyone else wants you to. It's not just nice. That's the wrong takeaway. They hammer that home in the episode, but that's not really what it is. It's you can't give in to what everyone else is asking of you around you all the time.
Right. Like, you can't allow everyone around you to take advantage of your lack of rules, boundaries, expectations, all of the above, right?
Well, you can't not have boundaries. You can't not have an understanding, especially when running a business, but like generally as a human being, like you can't just allow yourself to be taken advantage in this way. And I love that she finally understands like why Grunkle Stan gets so angry. But then of course she takes it one step forward and she's like, okay, no, we all work together and we figure that out. Right. Like she actually goes beyond what he does. I love that Dipper learns that some people just don't want to see real monsters. Like, that's clearly fake.
I just love the Grimoblin and like the entire concept behind him, and especially like the way he's ultimately vanquished.
Yes. Moblin. Well, I also like the idea that like part of what Dipper learns, right, is what you said, Joy, which is that, sure, there are real things out there, but perhaps don't capture them and put them in close proximity when they are dangerous creatures.
Yes, exactly.
Right? But I think that the other thing here is that when tourists come and visit the Mystery Shack, they're not looking for mystery in the sense where they're not looking to be put in danger. And they're not looking for scary creatures. They're not actually looking for monsters. What they want to do is go to this funny shack in the middle of the woods and see a six-packalope. Because that's hilarious. Like,
they want to be entertained. They want something funny, something fun.
Like, they're not expecting an actual freak show.
Yeah.
In the classical sense of the phrase, not like, but they're not looking for the Grimoblin.
No, they're looking for a six-packalope and maybe a dancing, crying child, which, by the way, is the other thing you would call child services on.
Yes, especially the hookworm, part.
Yes, especially
Uncle Stan. I think I'm getting hookworm.
That is something you need to look into immediately. Quick PSA for everybody. Look into hookworm. If you think you might have hookworm, just
turn off image search, baby.
Safe search, please.
So, yeah, exactly. Like, turn off images, baby.
Can we discuss Boss Mabel, taking all of her lessons from Succeeding in Business 1983?
Yes.
11 out of 10, no notes.
Can we also talk about her beautiful shoulder pads?
Yes.
Her shoulder pads. I love everything about her. I love the power suit. I love the glasses. I love number 2 boss. I love satisfied everyday loving life very much everyday satisfied. Like,
I love that you remembered that. That's impressive.
All good.
This is why Danielle always sends that gif of the cat typing really fast, because she takes so many notes.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm not going to take credit for remembering that. It's written down and it's sitting in front of me.
I figured it was. I was trying to give you the
right
W.
at it. Oh, no. We've already outed Danielle. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, hey, Danielle, did you write that down? Because it was really fun. And she's like, hang on, let me check.
I got you.
Oh, man.
I love Mabel's secretary pig.
Waddles.
My favorite though is the success poster with her face on the eagle's face. There's a great website called The Mystery Shack, and I don't know if they're still selling it, but for a long time they sold that poster, and I always thought about it. I was like, should I do it? They also have the read, where it's like a book holding another book.
Oh, that's pretty great.
I don't know if we've seen it yet. I know we see it in a second season episode, but it's the sort of like cool background thing that like could have shown up earlier. So I don't think I'm spoiling, but it's also
no. That's fine. I feel like I saw it. I feel like I saw it.
But they sell the Waddles posters?
No, we did see it before.
The Waddles posters. What? Oh, where?
We did see it before. It was when they go to the library in Irrational Treasure.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. There you go.
I remembered something. Be proud of me.
We are. I also really enjoy how the monster gets out. You gave him a break. He's an employee. Like, I mean, look, workers' rights, support unions, whatever. If we're going to have a boss, I feel like Boss Mabel is sort of the direction you want to go. Sure. Oh, yeah. Like, look, if I have a
bossing
choice between either, like Grunkle Stan or Boss Mabel, I'm choosing Boss Mabel. Now, Boss Mabel also understands that job is hard and she doesn't want it, which I also understand.
I mean, you're going to want a happy medium between Grunkle Stan and Mabel, because eventually, if Mabel's your boss, you're going to cease to have a job very soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because that's not a business that's staying afloat. $600 billion don't fit into a glass jar, Mabel.
I was hoping you would catch that. I was so hoping you would catch how that number is not, like, these things are not realistic.
Not plausible.
Not plausible.
I just am amused that Grunkle Stan nearly won $300,000. Because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Oh,
which I think ultimately says so much about him, right? Because it's not about the money, it's about the risk. Grunkle Stan is about the risk, 1,000%. And of course he risked it and he lost. And I'm just like, boy.
I mean, the risk and also just wildly overblown self-confidence.
Also this is also true.
I would like to one of the things I wrote down were 2 quotes from his section of the episode. I'm here to take all of the cash from your wheel, which absolutely sent me. I forget it every time, and every time I'm just like, this is the greatest. And then there's the PA talking to the producer. That man is a self-centered attention hog with no regard for human decency. Get him on TV.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were
I love that line.
If you were gonna talk about him activating his old man powers, which is one of my favorite things.
I'm having a heart attack, and the only cure is to be on cash wheel. Just my goodness.
You don't have to be naked for the cash hour. Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial.
Cut to commercial. Like the number of references in "I'm having a heart attack" and the only cure. Like there's like 3 references in that one sentence alone.
Yes,
that's beautiful.
100%. 100%.
This is sort of a more general thing, but one of the things I've sort of been enjoying about being a geriatric millennial and being the age of the people who are, if not leading the writers' rooms, then the number of people then I'm the average age of the number of people in a writer's room, is that a lot of the dialogue that gets written into shows sounds like stuff I would say with my friends, because it is people my age writing the stuff that's getting made. And so the things that they're saying are they're my vocal intonations and my jokes. like if you asked someone to source that joke, like, where did it come from? There's actually no direct reference, but you get to, and the only cure is, and you're like, oh, that's just more cowbell.
Right.
That's Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live. What does that like that's such a mimetic.
Yeah. That
just like shows up in that line in such an offhand way that I love that. And you see that a lot in Gravity Falls, in the DuckTales relaunch, in the Owl House. You see it a lot in Owl House or in Amphibia. Just the stuff that gets said. It's like, oh, we just collective unconscious of the 1982 set. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Alex Hirsch is our age, isn't he?
He is an 84 baby.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm a year older than Alex Hirsch. It's weird. I enjoy it a lot. I think I talked about it on this podcast before, but like I first started experiencing, oh my God, these people talk like me on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where every single thing everyone said was a thing I would say. And I was
were you watching Buffy as it was airing, or did you watch it later?
I sure was. No. As it was airing. I was like, finally something has my language in it. And that's when I also knew that Joss Whedon 100% has ADD. I don't know if he's ever been diagnosed with it, but my boy.
Yeah, no, that definitely tracks. That's not a thought I've ever actually had, but now that you say it, I cannot unsay.
Right.
No, because and my favorite thing is, real quick on that, because we have to move on to the next episode. But my favorite thing about that is Sarah Michelle Gellar is just so ridiculously intelligent that she didn't know what she was saying half the time, because she was like, I do not understand the words that you are making me say. And I'm just like, I love you so much. Because you're like, what a good actress. Your delivery is so solid. But I'm also like, he's giving you these ridiculous things and I'm so sorry. So many times she had to go to him and be like, I don't know what this means. This is not a real word. And I was just like, and this is how I learned that Sarah Michelle Gellar probably does not have ADD. It was a very good test. Anyway, so the next episode is Bottomless Pit, which I think of this as a clip show, which is hilarious because it's not a clip show of any clips we've actually seen. It's just a story clip show. It's not a clip show. It is the Gravity Falls answer to Tales of Interest. Oh, is that a trope? Yeah. Well, it's a Futurama thing. Okay.
So in Futurama, there's Tales of Interest, and it's like, I think like I can't remember if they do it every season, but it's the same concept where it's like a series of short vignettes instead of a 22-minute episode. And there's some kind of like framing device for what the setup is.
Yeah.
So
I've seen other shows do this as well. I'm very curious to know if it has a trope name. Someone get at us on Twitter. I think the trope name is, I know you're going for engagement, but I think the trope name really is just Tales of Interest. Probably.
Because that's sort of where it came from.
It's Inception. Maybe.
But I've seen this before Futurama. Like, I don't even watch Futurama and I've seen this.
Anthology of Interest 1 came out in May 21st, 2000.
Whoa. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I think this is a season. Oh, it's a season 2 episode.
Okay.
It's so funny because I wouldn't even know what to search for.
Well, I just Googled Tales of Interest, and it got me to the Wikipedia page for Anthology of Interest. So.
And that's the name of that's what we're calling the trope, sort of.
I believe
based on that.
Yeah, I think
I'll take
so.
it. I mean, 2020.
I'm gonna go to TV tropes and see
the Tales series.
Over 2 decades ago. That's wild.
Yeah, no, it's old as hell. I mean, like, I think the first time I ended up seeing it was like a Tales from the Crypt episode or something, where instead of telling one story, it was telling 4. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And, you know, it's like little, like, you know, as you said, vignettes. It's just like, hey, we just want to, you know, I mean, like The Simpsons does this too with their Halloween episodes. They just tell a bunch of stories that are complete. Maybe I'll go to Twitter later, or X later, and put it in there.
We're going to go to X.
We're going to go to
and I oop.
That's a podcast for another time.
Oh.
And I'm not going to lead that one. I genuinely don't care. I could care so little.
Bottomless
what's your
pit.
favorite mini-sode?
Okay, hold on. So we have voiceover. Dipper has voiceover, where, I mean, how
my least favorite.
How many episodes are we going to get where Dipper has to try to be a man? Is it just like, you know?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it, Danielle? Dipper's 3 traits. Dipper is Mabel's twin. Dipper tries to be a man, and Dipper loves Wendy, and that's it.
And that's it. And sometimes you get a twofer, like in, you know, some of the other episodes we've seen.
How many? Yeah. I mean, how many traits does a 13-year-old boy need?
I mean,
I thought usually they have like one personality, and it's Andrew Tate.
I would like him to have. Maybe, you know what? You're right. Maybe it's because I don't like those traits. Because it's like, how many traits does Mabel have? Mabel has like soft, squishy sister, boy crazy, and like
and glitter.
And like that's it.
Yeah. Fair, you're right. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's just that you know, he has other traits that just at this point in the show anyway aren't super emphasized. Like his whole conspiracy theorist thing. Like, we know that that's part of who he is as a person. But we've gotten max 1 episode where that's really played for everything that it's worth. I don't know. So we have voiceover. We have Seuss's really great pinball story.
That's mine. That's my favorite.
So do you remember in I can't remember if it was the first episode or the second episode we recorded, where I mentioned there was a really amazing DVD commentary story?
Yes.
It was this. So it was on the pinball episode, and the story was about Jason Ritter. When he was a teenager, they had a pinball machine in the basement, but like he wasn't allowed to use it for some reason or something.
Oh.
Anyway,
what a torture for a child to have a pinball machine in a basement.
I think it was broken was the thing. Because there's a point in the story, I'm not going to tell it because I don't remember the specifics and I don't want to ruin it, but there is a degree of double take and reaction and sort of like comedy pratfall moment that knowing that this happened between John Ritter and his son just takes that just the next level up, because all you can see is Jack Tripper tripping, like just doing his, you know, Jack from Three's Company pratfalls.
Yeah.
In this story, and you're just like, this is the best. This was worth buying this whole DVD box set, Blu-ray box set for this story alone.
Yeah, no. If I had John Ritter living in my proximity and there wasn't at least one pratfall, I mean, right? Like, what is life? Why like, am I living?
What are we even doing?
Like, what is the point of anything?
What are we here for? If we can't,
one day I will show you Three's Company, Danielle, and you will actually know what we're talking about.
I mean, yeah, because here I'm sitting here like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Oh man!
Mark it off on your bingo card. Danielle hasn't seen it.
Danielle, I can't. I apologize. I keep forgetting that there's like major pop culture holes.
You don't have to apologize. It's just very funny.
I don't know.
You also have to, but you have to remember that Danielle actually thinks it's very funny. Like you had
well then.
I find it funny because I always know when it happens now because Danielle gets very quiet.
Yes. I'm like, I have nothing to contribute. And then I just sit and listen.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, no, Danielle is just jazzed to be here. Like, I stopped sort of feeling bad about it, but then I also took the most extreme example and was like, well, but Danielle, I need you to see things because I need you to understand me as a person.
Right.
So I was very extreme.
Let's organize a weekly event around this and then organize a podcast around this.
There we go. To give a very quick TLDR for you, Danielle, and any of the listeners who did not see the 70s masterpiece that is Three's Company.
If you can get your hands on it, listeners, please do because it's amazing.
It's magical. It is from the 70s. There are social elements of it that I did not understand as a child. Like, I didn't understand the whole thing about, basically the premise is John Ritter, who is Jason Ritter's father, who is Jason Ritter, the voice of Dipper. He plays this guy named Jack Tripper, who's an actor, and he finds this amazing deal on a room in an apartment, but the other two roommates are girls. And I can't remember if they know that he's straight and he pretends to everybody else, or if he pretends to them as well that he's gay, and that's why it's okay that he's a roommate of two women, because it's the 70s.
I'm pretty sure it's just outwardly, but I think in the apartment, everyone knows everyone is straight.
Yeah, because I think he ends up with Chrissy or something. Anyway, it's Suzanne Summers as a 22-year-old. She is just gorgeous.
And yeah, the very 70s definition of, like, you have the blonde bombshell and you have the brunette girl next door. The brunette girl next door is a little bit more intelligent than the blonde bombshell. You know, like, there are definitely elements of it that are like, if you made this today, it would be completely different.
No, it's from the 70s, and it's very from the 70s.
Yes, it is a time and a place.
And I cannot think about it without thinking about the time, and I must have been about 6 or 7.
And they're very conservative, nosy neighbor.
Right, the Ropers. I think they're the landlords, actually.
I think they are the landlords.
So I was watching it on, like, Nick at Night or something, and I guess I was being babysat or something, and the woman who was there was this woman, Laura, who's sort of like a cousin to me, and she's like, I just want you to understand that this show is from the 1970s, and that's why they're dressed like that. And that was the only thing she explained. And I had no questions about how the people were dressed.
She only mentioned the costume.
She only mentioned the clothing.
Which is hilarious to me, because in the 90s, we had a renaissance of the 70s. So we were like, but bell bottoms came back, though.
Well, not only that. I mean, this was before that. This was probably,
no, I know. This was
like
in the 80s. If you, yeah.
But, like, if I went into the living room and looked in the photo albums or in some of the pictures in the house, or if I looked at the pictures at my grandmother's house, it was people dressed like that. Like that, I had seen, I had a frame of reference for those kinds of looks because I had seen my own family in them in photographs. So it was just very weird for her to be like, this is why this is thing. And I'm like, that was not the kind of question I had.
The question I had was why there was weird tension between a couple of the characters when someone said something. Or why John Ritter made certain faces at certain times.
Exactly.
And, like, my favorite thing about that show is that John Ritter is such a horn dog that it doesn't even make any sense that the show actually existed. The character John Ritter plays was like such a and he's living with two women, and he was just waiting. He was waiting and praying for the day he got with at least one of these women, and it was so funny to me because I was like, how on earth did this show get made? Like,
when James Burrows and James Charles Burrows get together and decide they need something that can go after the Golden Girls, you know.
Oh my God.
In the 8:30 slot, they come up with this. That temporally can't happen because the Golden Girls didn't start until the mid 80s.
I know. God, speaking of good shows we should watch, Danielle. But you've seen the Golden Girls, though. You haven't?
No.
You should watch that. Look, it's Golden Girls is, I think, 5 seasons long. But the problem with Golden Girls is inevitably the jokes are so good, but you just end up talking about the jokes. This is the Brooklyn Nine-Nine problem. This is and this episode was funny. You know, there's
condoms,
not going to be
Rose. Condoms.
I know. There's not going to be a whole lot of character arc.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of...
The entire podcast episode is just quoting the episode directly.
Exactly. We might as well just have a dramatic reading. Like, it doesn't...
Exactly.
It wouldn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, yes, the pinball episode is my favorite little mini episode. I do like Stan's golden teeth.
Yes.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention for True Fake.
The note that I took on that is that the football team that show up in Stan's little story, those are the colors of University of Oregon.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The Gooey Ducks.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny.
My goodness.
That's pretty great.
Bless. Love that.
Not sure how intentional that was, but like it worked.
I mean, it feels
it is. That's the kind of intentional that like someone mentions it after the fact, and you bet Alex Hirsch went, yes, I did
Exactly.
that. I did that. Yeah. Look, as a writer, have I said this was really clever? I'm like, yeah, it was, and it was totally intentional.
I wrote a song in 2003, and I think 3 or 4 years ago, I noticed an amazing pun in one of the verses that I didn't intend to put there, but I did, and I'm gonna say that was there the whole time.
It was there the whole time.
The whole time.
Intentional.
Swear to God.
But yeah, I also love the trunk of secrets or whatever it was.
Yes. I
and
mean,
that's sort of pig. You guys playing Spin the Pig.
Spin the Pig. Like that's sort of my favorite thing about Mabel's story is that it just full circles right back to the beginning of the episode. And the characters in show are like, we didn't need to hear the story because it just happened to us.
We just lived it. Mabel,
you know what I appreciate about that? Every time I come back around to this episode, I have forgotten that.
I love that.
Nice.
And
nice,
she's
every time I'm like, oh, that's right, they did that thing.
That's how you know it's a mark of a good episode.
Really love Stan is sick and needs a bear. Signs Dr. Medicine. Love that.
Who is driving car? Bear is driving car. How can this be?
Bear is driving car. Oh my God. Signed Dr. Medicine. I forgot about
Signed Dr. Medicine.
Dr. Medicine would be a great screen name, like a stealth screen name for Gravity Falls. Bear as Dr. Medicine at gmail.com.
So there are two there's two fandom members who have amazing Gravity Falls handles that I always think of when I think of that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. One is the Snadger. We have not discovered the Snadger yet, but
okay.
The other Snatcher. Is Burgle Bezelment.
Burgle Bezelment. Burgle Bezelment is pretty spectacular.
Their fanfics are a delight. So 11 out of 10 recommend. Hello, Nella. I know you've got headphones in.
She can't hear you. Jill says hello. No, not yet. She was like, are you done? I was like, no.
Nope.
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances. One of the things I wanted to point out actually in about Dipper's story, there's the scene where he's in the bar.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but one of the people in the bar was Mr. Poolcheck.
Oh, no, I did not notice that. Oh my gosh, I love that. I mean, maybe I
didn't notice that until this watch, but I was just like, hey, wait a second, that's Poolcheck.
And he's one of the people who chases him.
Yeah, he's big mad.
Yeah, because he's one of the people who chases him, and I was just like, why does he look familiar? Because the way they decided to draw Poolcheck is very Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, that was one of my notes. Very big John K energy.
Yeah, huge John K energy. And I remember Pool Check before I remember Dipper and Mabel. It's weird. My brain is just oh yeah, that's the Ren and Stimpy character. That's literally a character I grew up with 1,000%.
He's basically Mr. Horse, but a human. He is Mr. Horse. He's Mr. Horse's skin sona. I'm sorry for that phrasing.
Well, we'll see if that ends up in the. We'll see if that ends up in the. That's fine.
That's pretty spectacular.
Which of course brings us to the deep end.
The deep end. Also known as Kids Bop, The Shape of Water.
Oh boy. Is it though? Well, I guess it is. I guess it is.
Definitely yes.
Shape of Water / Free Willy /
I mean, PG-13 version. PG.
Splash.
Yeah, you did say Kids Bop. Mm-hmm.
This is why inevitably this is where I get to say I actually never saw Shape of Water. I saw Splash. It's original from the 1980s.
Wait, this is one of the rare occasions where I get to say I've seen both those movies. Hey!
I have also seen both those movies, which is also kind of a rare thing for me to be able to say.
Hey.
Splash is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Same.
Just Eugene Levy and John Candy speaking in Swedish, just mwah.
I know. I love the I've talked about this already on this show, but Splash is the movie where you see it as an adult and you're like, oh, I didn't clock that.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that movie that I didn't clock until I was an adult. And I went,
we for sure talked about that.
Filthy. Yeah.
I need to rewatch it as an adult because I have technically seen it, but I only saw it as a child. And so I remember, a semi-love story between a man and a mermaid. And that's
Ellis Island, home to naked women everywhere. Bocce balls. Yeah, that
I love
imprinted
that movie
itself
so
pretty
much.
heavily.
I love that movie so much. I actually can't hear the Zippity Doodah song. I can't hear the original.
Oh no!
I can only hear Tom Hanks singing Zippity Doodah to a mango on his shoulder. I can't.
Oh my
can't.
God. Mr. Mango on my shoulder. Wow.
Yeah, you're
Core
welcome.
Memories unlocked. Core memories. And then yeah.
But yes, Deep End was it wasn't actually very Splash for me. It was very Free Willy, except if the whale could talk. But yeah.
It did have the Free Willy moment.
I know.
It did. They put that in there.
I know.
For you.
And that's for me. It's me for me. And I love the episode of just and then you find a mythical creature in your neighborhood pool. And I'm just have you never gone to the pool before? You have a lake. Did you never go to the pool?
Yeah. I love the mythical creature. I love that this is the second mythical creature we have seen Mabel fall in love with, but how she explicitly makes mention of vampires who we've never met. She doesn't tell Dipper about everything.
I don't tell you everything. That was just mwah.
I don't tell you everything.
I am saying
that's so good. And I also love, I know that this is such a throwaway line, but I love that she notices that what's the merman's name again? Mermando. I love that she notices Mermando's accent and is like, oh, so that's why you have a merman accent. And he's like, no, I'm from Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand your fish language. It's Spanish. That was mwah. Just so good.
It was a real tell me you've grown up only around white people moment, and I appreciate it.
I love it so much.
I posted in the Facebook chat the picture I took from the Seattle Aquarium having a Free Willy moment. Oh. No, a Free Willy moment. They have, you'll see it
amazing.
It's basically a plastic top of an orca. And I was like, this is my time. I have to do this.
This is a Free Willy moment.
It is a Free Willy.
You only get so many in your life.
I had a nightmare about orcas recently.
What? I mean, they're kind of terrifying. They're kind of They're straight murderers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. I can't even tell you why, but all of a sudden I was surrounded by orcas and it was weird. And
Are you planning on going on Jeff Bezos' yacht in any time soon?
No.
Because that's really the only time I'd be worried about getting attacked by an orca.
Yeah, I was like, oh, then you're good. Can I just meta for a moment and say that I kind of love that this podcast episode is our vignette episode.
Right? All our little stories. All our little stories. I think it's because these episodes, look, as much as I love these episodes, they're not terribly arc driven, and my brain is just like, they happened. And it's not that I don't like them. I mean, I did just talk about how Boss Mabel is one of my favorite episodes, but I did also say, I think before we started recording, that I was like, I have the most notes on Boss Mabel and everything else is just kind of there. I
don't think that that's necessarily a negative thing. Like, I think that part of what I love about these 3 episodes is that they're enjoyable to watch, and they remind me of many other things that I know and love.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the charm.
Yeah. They 100% reference all the things we love. I mean, I also love, and this is actually one other thing we didn't really touch on, or I guess we kind of did with the 3 things about Dipper that exist. But of course, Wendy is a lifeguard at the pool. And so they just end up having fun the whole time because Dipper also gets a job being a lifeguard at the pool.
So irresponsible.
And Polchek is there. Justice for Polchek. Polchek is just like, I'm just trying to do my job, man. It's crazy.
I mean, I was like waiting for the moment where Polchek is revealed to be an alien or something, because they drop like so many little hints about his strange behavior. And then we just end the episode with no explanation for any of it. Love it. I'm okay with that.
I don't think we ever get one at all. I
feel like he's supposed to be like the Apocalypse Now drop in, where he takes everything a little too seriously. Like,
I think that's it.
It's so funny because I can't even explain the Apocalypse Now phenomenon. It's so weird. It's just like, it doesn't even have anything to do with anything, but it's essentially just a dude who's been at war too long and takes things way too seriously. And that's Polchek.
If it were just like him drinking the pool water or just him eating the whistle, I might have just like let it slide. But it was the one moment for me was when he was hanging backwards off of that chicken wire fence.
Yeah.
And then
he's doing
his
crunches.
body upward and then clicked his body back. I was like, alien. That's an alien. That's a mythical creature.
That was also what felt so reminiscent.
Forget the kid who's half fish. This guy.
We do actually get the 2 cops being a little bit queer together.
Yes, with you, every day is a dream. I died. Of course,
we get we get whispers up until this episode. Like we get little how they may or may not be together, but like this episode, I'm just like, and they're together. They're together. They're just there.
There is no heterosexual explanation.
And they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates?
Harold, they're lesbians.
Harold.
I know, and Jill, I don't know if you know more about this, but I know that there was pushback to make them actually a couple. Unless it's like an unconfirmed thing. I heard that there was.
They end up together in the finale.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some weird Disney didn't want too much queer.
There's a couple of things that this is at the same time. In an episode in the 2nd season, Mabel gets a hold of what's essentially like a love potion. And where you inhale, it's like a fairy dust, and if you inhale the fairy dust, the first person you look at, you fall in love with, that kind of thing. Very good thing for Mabel to have in her possession.
Very responsible Mabel Pine. So responsible with this.
There's a scene where she gets the fairy dust, And in the scene, it was originally storyboarded where there were like some of the couples were same-sex couples. Because it was in a public setting.
Oh, okay.
And Disney pushed back.
Mm.
And Disney was like, and Disney said they couldn't do that. And that episode is like I said, it's in second season, so we haven't even gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I think with Blubs and Durland, I think there was enough of a fig leaf, like a Keystone Cops kind of fig leaf.
Yeah.
Where it was.
What a weird phrase.
Well, I don't know if you've watched any of the Skip Intro Is This Copaganda series on YouTube.
I have not.
Really, it's a really interesting watch. He covers like Buffy and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and True Bloods and NYPD Blue and Law and Order and just the Paw Patrol episode is not to be missed. And it's just sort of like examining the ways propaganda happens and like the ways concessions are made that give us stuff like Blubs and Durland, but that ultimately defangs the ACAB vibe of it all, right. If that makes sense. ACAB can't be true. These guys are total yutzes, like
right, yeah.
Sort of like a fig leaf on a fig leaf, if you will.
That's two very good phrases. A
so you get a fig leaf, a hat on a hat. So basically what you end up with is they don't get to show a like loving lesbian couple, because then that's a loving lesbian couple with no context around it, and we can't have that. We can't have we can't have lesbians just happy,
but we can have quote buddy cops, because we've seen buddy cops before, right?
Mm-hmm. We can not only that we can have buddy cops because we've seen buddy cops before, but that the cops being buddies and being goofy and being silly and being Keystone Cop kind of dudes, no one is going to experience necessarily police brutality from Blubs and Durland.
No one's threatened, and no one feels like they could be threatened because fluffy.
Yeah, exactly. So the trade-off is, okay, you get to have your sort of ambiguously gay cops, but in return we get we tell the kids cops aren't something to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a level of choosing shows for this podcast of like, how much propaganda do we want to do at once because of the level of propaganda that I was brought up with.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to figure out what shows to actually watch that are not propaganda, and the list is surprisingly small.
It's hard to get away from sometimes.
It's very hard to get away from.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get away from. Like that's sort of that's part of why, that YouTube series exists in the first place, is because there's so many different ways that it exists, and they're all insidious, for different reasons.
Right.
Yeah. So you've got Paw Patrol, getting kids comfortable with a nanny state. And a panopticon and all that kind of nonsense. But then you've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine telling you that no, the Brooklyn cops, they're your neighbors. They're just like you.
Just like you. Mm-hmm. Our cop show is Fringe, which
our cop show was almost human.
Show.
Our cop show was almost human
and Fringe.
We were like literal cops. Almost Human was literal cops.
I don't know how to tell you this, but Fringe is also literal cops.
Yeah, I was like, that's also a cop show.
Right, but there's there's FBI cops, and then there's like beat cops, detective cops.
Sure.
Like Almost Human is beat cop, detective cop. Like I 100% would see what's his name? Kenix beating up someone on the street before I'd see Olivia Dunham. 100%. That isn't to say that Olivia Dunham couldn't handle her nonsense. The Carl Urban character, Danielle, in case you don't remember. But it's just no, they were.
I would like to state for the record that my brain, until you said that, was putting Detroit Become Human, the video game.
I mean, there's that too.
Into Like I have not played that video game, but you said Almost Human, and I was like, oh, Detroit Become Human, and then you were like Carl Urban. I was like, oh no, wait, Carl Urban, Michael Ealy. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing. The other cop show.
The other cop
The
show.
other cop
one
show.
might be a robot.
We're buddy cops, except one's a robot.
Yeah.
Yes. How did we get here? Right.
Propaganda. Love
I
Sunderland.
also
every day with you is a dream.
I also
so cute.
wanted to throw in there that this is also the episode where we finally get Dipper going, gee, maybe it won't work with Wendy. Finally. We have a moment where he's
episode?
like,
Did I miss the moment?
It's where Mabel is talking about how, look, Dipper, you ever like really like someone, but you know it's not going to work out, but you really like them anyway, and you want to do anything for them. And Dipper has this moment of like, oh my God.
I totally missed that because I got distracted by everything else happening, and all I wrote down was Mabel rolls rapport! Exclamation point.
I mean, you're not wrong. Both things are true, Danielle. She rolled rapport, but also he had a moment of crisis.
You're right. So this is, are we towards the end of
No.
Dipper's little no? Okay, we're still so many of them.
No.
Very fine.
No,
Okay.
it really does not get fully addressed and closed and filled and finished until the middle of the second season.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
we've got a long road to hoe, but like this is at least the inkling of Dipper being like, this is what I'm doing. Like I am in love with a girl too old for me who sees me as a brother, and like this is never going to work. But he has the thought, and I just needed to point it out because I was just like, look, on some level, he understands.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us to one more thing. Do you guys have one more thing? Because I have one.
I mean, yeah, I've got a few. There's like a bunch of fun little moments, I think, that we didn't have a chance to touch on.
I have two. But if you know what you have, Jill, go ahead.
Okay, so I have two for the in the deep end.
Sure.
Love that.
The first one, the Pacific Northwest being on fire or melting hits way different in 2023.
Oof, yeah.
Than it
Random
did in
wildfires.
2012. Yo, like in 2012, that was funny. Now it's not.
Wildfires. No, not funny.
No longer funny.
Yeah.
No longer the setup for your sitcom. Thank you.
like of all of the jokes to age poorly, like I did not expect that to be the one.
Yeah.
But here
true.
we are.
Here we are. What was your other one more thing?
So in the pool in the deep end, in the early in the episode when Grunkle Stan is talking about the perfect chair at the pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like talking it up and he put his towel down. Mm-hmm. The camera work on that whole segment is outstanding.
Ooh,
I agree.
True.
Because you don't, the whole joke works because you don't see Gideon until Stan does.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Also,
and that's just wonderful.
Gideon in this episode was really good.
Yeah.
There's another one more thing.
Like it's nice to see Gideon being a little shit in a way that's not like existentially threatening.
Right. Yes, I agree. I love that. Those are really good one more things.
Thank you.
What's my two more one more things? You go, Joy.
Do you want me to
maybe
go
you'll,
and then you can
maybe
I'll cut
you'll
down on the ones you
some
have?
of mine. Yeah.
So Seuss wanting to be questiony the question mark.
I'm so glad you mentioned questiony because I was going to mention questiony.
Because also I was
go.
like, Seuss, you can also just wear your clothes.
Right?
Underneath the question mark.
Mascots wear clothes. Like you can just wear clothes.
My guy, if you absolutely must, a black bodysuit, like a black unitard would just really work very well because you could have yourself covered, but also
Could also be questiony the question mark.
Exactly. Live his dream, live his truth.
Yes.
And I also really
love
love Dipper's...
Mabel would have been able to help him with that if she had gotten if she hadn't only gotten her boss tips from How to Succeed in Business 1983.
I think she would have thought of that if she was not, by that point, running around doing everyone else's jobs.
Fair.
Or also
fair.
just not accepting what people said. Right?
Yeah.
Because she wasn't even really leading. She was like, well, if this is your dream, then that's it. And we're just going to do it. And here you go.
Believe in yourself.
And as a person who can't always articulate the dream they have, for somebody to hand me my half-thought dream, I would stare at it and be like, I didn't think this through. I need some more time. Hang on. Let me figure something out. This isn't what I thought it was what I wanted, but it's not. My other one from that same episode is actually Dipper's Stan outfit.
Oh, yes.
At the end.
Dapper Dipper. When we get it, it's great.
Dapper Dipper's great.
Dapper Dipper's
great. And those are my two one more things. And a horse riding a horse. Because
I love that.
It's great.
Okay. So eliminating the slight overlap actually I had with both of you. So this works out very nicely in my favor. I have one tiny line that we didn't quote and that I thought was very funny. I mean, my favorite is still the line about speaking Spanish.
Yes.
But I also kind of love when they're defeating the Gremloblin and it's like, use water only as a last resort. Wait, who writes sentences like
this?
Why would you write sentences like this?
Why would you draw that?
Write sentences like that. And my favorite, C plot of these 3 episodes is Seuss freeing the inflatable ducks.
Yes. Another one of my favorite moments of that whole episode. Seuss is just the best.
It's the best, but I love that it's this tiny little through line that's actually folded in for the entire episode between Wendy and Dipper playing a trick on him all the way to the middle where Dipper's like, is anyone else gonna break into the pool? And Seuss shows up and it turns out he's there to free the inflatable ducks, which is so cute and so Seuss.
And I love how Dipper's like, Seuss, go home. Okie dokie.
Okay.
Just okay. See you later, dude. And just walks right back out. Mwah.
Seuss is great. Seuss breaks the timeline.
Yeah.
Seuss. So good. So good. Okay. Did we do it?
We did.
We talked about these 3 episodes and many other things, which I'm okay with.
We talked of cabbages and kings and all that sort of thing.
All that sort of thing. This was it. This was our vignette episode. We're allowed.
Yeah, we're allowed one per season.
They get a vignette episode. We get a vignette episode.
I feel like this whole season is going to be a lot of vignette episodes just by the nature of our dynamic. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Look, my favorite podcasts are just friends talking. That's it. That's it.
The entire McElroy family of entertainment is that
exactly
monetized within an inch of its life. We should all be so lucky.
Yep. Seriously. Okay. Is this it? This is the outro. Should we do the usual? Jill, do you want to tell us where to find you?
Yeah. Hey, you can check me out on TikTok and Blue Sky. That's the one. Both on both as Mix Labradorite. That's MXLABRADORITE.
Yeah.
I think I have the muscle memory of that one down. We'll find out.
You can always make yourself a little cheat sheet. No one has to know.
But listeners,
everyone will know. Everyone will know. Tweet at Jill. Tweet at Jill and tell them you know.
They're not going to know. They're going to know.
Specifically,
How will they know?
At Jill. You just got to. All right. Well, and if you're looking for me or Joy, you can check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, if you could appear in a game show, which one would it be? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.